What's up, fam? Extraordinary Life with Elijah, and you're watching this video on Sunday, January 11th, 2026 at 10:50 a.m. MST. That is not the first time that I recorded that. Every time I come into a new year, I always trip over my intro because I shift something about it, and my tongue, my brain just freak out because I'm saying something new, and also more difficult because I have my second round of COVID. Almost a year ago now is when I had it first, knocked me for a loop. It's not as bad this time, but definitely my brain just gets so fuzzy, especially when I come here into the evenings. But the thing that I do remember, haven't lost connection with, is the supreme blessing, the supreme joy and pleasantness of God's presence experienced in last week's video. That it took me forever to get through the edit because I kept watching and rewatching that middle period between the videos. That God's presence was so palpable, that He was speaking so many things to me throughout the video that was making it difficult to continue speaking with you guys, to keep presenting ideas and keep releasing grace to you because of the wonderful things that He was saying to my heart and mind. Through that, then, going throughout this last week, especially with having more time to just sit, to meditate, to pray, to praise, to just be quiet in God's presence, thinking back through again just the beauty of God's presence. If you'll remember, out of Exodus 33, Moses is having a conversation with God. God's angry with his people. His people have grumbled and complained against him, and God tells Moses, "That's it. I'm done. I'm not going with you. I'll send my angel before you to drive out all the enemies from the land, but my presence is not going with you." And Moses intercedes with God and says, "God, do not send us up from this place unless your presence goes with me." Now, this is what Moses says. "How will the nations of the world know that you are pleased with us unless your presence goes with us?" Now, I've presented that idea before, I think even here with you guys on the channel, but God unlocked this new insight, this new awareness in that truth, that when the first time that the children of Israel came to the border of the promised land, and Moses sent in spies to spy out the land, they came back and they brought back massive fruit. They said, "It's a good land, it's abundant land. Look, see here, we've brought some of the fruit." And there were grapes the size of plums. There was just this massive abundance in the land, even while occupied by a people whose sins had reached their fullness. Their sins had reached the zenith of their expression. That was very fascinating to me, because God had created an environment that was meant to thrive, and that environment was producing its supernatural fruit even while pervaded by evil people who, like Scripture says, sins had reached their fullness, had reached their zenith, and that the land was producing its supernatural fruit of milk and honey richness. But was God pleased with them? Absolutely not. And so Moses rightly discerned, God, Father, if your presence is not manifestly aware in us, that the whole world can see that there is a God in Israel, that your presence is being made known in the fire and in the cloud and in your mighty works in amongst your people, how will the world know that you are pleased with us aside from your presence? That God is faithful, and He had promised the land to His people. And He said, "I'll send my angel ahead of you to drive the enemies out before you. I will fulfill my promise, and you'll be in the land, and you'll have crazy success and fruitfulness and just an abundance of milk and honey, and you'll invent all of the programs, and you'll solve all of the diseases, and you'll rule all of the countries, and you'll have all of the families that are awesome with 2.5 children and a picket fence and a dog named Chester. But so what? If God's presence is not with you in and amongst that, there's nothing that reveals God's pleasure being upon his people. Friends, as I've said before in this channel, I often get distracted by the fact that I look at my numbers. How many subscribers do I have? How many views do I have? How many thumbs downs do I have? What success do I have? How will the world know that God is pleased with me unless my channel is performing in such a way that is equal with the creators that are around me and not higher? And it's such a deception that last week's pleasure, privilege of being my Father's son and just existing in his presence, feeling him with me, having him speak to me, seeing what he was doing in, with, and through me, so fully recaptivated my heart. And so my encouragement to you is that this new insight of the promised land producing abundant richness, even while pervaded by a people whose sins had reached their zenith, that thought could challenge you, that by God's Spirit, it could convict you to have a supreme value for God's presence. Aside from God's presence being in and among his people, revealing his supernatural strength at work within them, there's nothing about our lives in him that will reveal any of his pleasure in us to anyone in the world. If you subscribe to what I am doing, then hit the button, hit it and then get it. Hit the bell as well so you get notified with the new content. The new content. And if you loved this video, you didn't just like it, then hit the thumbs down button. I'm feeling really cruddy. Do it for me because I'm feeling bad. Hit the thumbs down button. That will make me feel good. I pray blessings on our lives together. I love you guys lots, and I will see you in the next video, which starts now. I shouldn't try to banter and be silly. Oh my goodness, it's like my head is filled with cotton. But that's the beauty of God's presence, though, my friends. So good. God plus me is a super majority, as Brian has said. If you lose everything and all that you have left is God, consider it a blessing. What's up, fam? Extraordinary Life with Elijah. And this week, my kids and abortionists are my extra, and I am the ordinary.